So this Corey Graves situation went from like bad to worse to yikes for WWE recently. Here, I'm just going to pull up this from the beginning. We're just going to take a look. This was the original tweet that got a lot of buzz that seemingly got Corey Graves in trouble. Imagine chasing your dream, then being told, not deciding that you are no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty effing awesome at it. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you're being told you're not famous enough to do your own job, just in case you've wondered where I've been. So that was a tweet that kind of got him in a little bit of trouble, a little bit of heat, it seems, because basically right after that, this report came out courtesy of Mike Johnson and the good folks over at PW Insider. You can see it right here. Corey Graves will not be appearing on tonight's edition of NXT. This was this past Tuesday. He will not be appearing on NXT. Graves was spotted this afternoon at the Orlando airport going through TSA to leave the city. There had been word with WWE for the last week that Graves wasn't happy from being bumped off of Raw and SmackDown for NXT. So that had been bubbling up, and it just seems like Corey Graves got to Orlando after that tweet, was sent packing by WWE because of that tweet. And Dave Meltzer over at Wrestling Observer Radio rounds us out here by stating that he, Corey Graves, was genuinely unhappy. Now, why you would go on Twitter and do all this, I can't answer that question. There's people there who think, and again, there's people there, that meaning Dave has talked to people there who think this, not confirmed. There's people there who think that he was trying to get fired, and that's why he did it. If he was trying to get fired, they probably aren't going to fire him because I don't think they want him going to AEW if they give him a release. They could also suspend him, which maybe they've done that for all we know. It doesn't have to be announced that they've suspended him. So, again, there's a little bit more that's been reported out there from outlets like Fightful Select and whatnot, but this is like the main meat of it. And again, TLDR, if you didn't follow this so far, let me talk to you. How you doing? Corey Graves. All right? Corey Graves was like crashing out, burning out, crashing out again, and then basically sent home, and he's very unhappy because he got the boot from the main roster. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, right? He got removed from main roster commentary, something he had been doing for years, something he had been doing for almost a decade at this point, something he had been very good at certain points in his career, as far as like the way he came across, at least. I think Corey Graves is a professional. I think he's good at his job. But at the end of the day, they have Pat McAfee and Michael Cole on Raw. And Raw is on Netflix. That is going to be the big spectacle show. That is going to be the show that they want all of the non-wrestling fans watching. Pat McAfee is a good crossover star for that, in their view. And he is. He's got the most watched show on ESPN right now. He's got hours upon hours of prime real estate on that show. He's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars by ESPN to simulcast his show on their network while also being on his YouTube channel, which is one of the most watched, if not the most watched sports show in the entire world, or in the entire United States right now. Pat McAfee's a massive star, is what I'm trying to say. So he got removed from the main roster. Here's the thing, I don't like it because I don't like Pat McAfee as a commentator. But it is what it is. They're going to choose Pat McAfee for that spot as long as they possibly can. And he's going to go away later. I think Corey was probably going to get his job back at some point, probably towards either like summer or fall. Definitely by the fall, because he has to go do College Game Day. He being Pat McAfee has to go do College Game Day. But that didn't sit well with Corey. And then you have, Joe Tessitore over on SmackDown. They really like him. And I like what Joe Tessitore is doing. And they like the dynamic that he's built out with Stu Bennett over there. So for them, it's like, you're just the odd man out. They're not doing 3-man booths anymore, thank God, because those were not fun. I don't like 3-man booths. I don't even like the 3-man booths they're doing on Dynamite right now. I love Tony Schiavone, but that man should not be on commentary right now. Shout out to Tony. Love you. But at the end of the day, man, like, like there's two routes you could take. You could take the route of being like, all right, well, I feel like I've given this place a lot and it is not giving back to me in the way that I expected. And if he genuinely feels underappreciated and all that, that's valid. Totally valid. I see why he's mad. I totally see why he's mad. But it's like one of those things where if you play the game, as Coach actually said, which, like, again, I don't like everything Coach says. He shouted out someone I'm not really fond of, but regardless, I don't agree with like a lot of what Coach said, but he was right. If in this, if you play the game, eventually you're gonna get your way. And Corey Graves has been playing the game for the past 10 years. He knows this. He knows sometimes there's ups and downs. You get shuffled around. It happens. He doesn't fit in NXT right now because honestly, he messed up what Vic Joseph and Booker T had, and they're probably the two best announced. I think that's the best announced team that WWE has from a performance standpoint. But yeah, it just seems like he's not happy. I don't know what. I mean, his contract situation, I believe, is he re-signed last year. I believe, according to a report I read, but don't quote me on that. But look, it's a bad situation, right? Because this is one of the few, like, I've stated this before. A lot of stuff happens backstage in WWE. Doesn't necessarily get reported too much because it doesn't get out because people are more tight-lipped than ever. But this is one of the few times it's gotten out. And that's why it's broken through, because you have all these people who are shocked, like, oh my God, the Triple H WWE? How are bad things happening under Triple H WWE? Like, no, people don't like each other backstage. They're not getting into fist fights now, at least as far as we know. But you're always going to have a healthy amount of, and sometimes more than a healthy amount of a competitive spirit. You're always going to have a more than a healthy amount of fire backstage. It's going to happen because these people take a lot of pride in their jobs, as they should. And I think part of this is Corey Graves taking pride in the work that he's done and being like, man, I worked my ass off 10 years. I gave everything to this company, days off, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, here I am, the odd man out on NXT. I'm sure he feels like he got a demotion. And I know Wall Street Money, you're in here saying like, oh, it's a work. It's not a work. This is not a work. At least to my knowledge, at least to what's been reported and out there, this is not a work. Corey Graves was right to be offended, saying he's not famous enough. I mean, it's like when The Rock said to Booker T, "Who are you?" Yeah, I mean, hey, that wasn't great either. But it's true for what they want on that show, for what WWE wants on Netflix. Pat McAfee's the right guy for the job. As bad as his commentary is, and it's bad, it's horrible. Like it is. I'm gonna let you guys in on a secret. I don't look. Y'all know how I watch Raw, right? I either mute the commentary whenever I can, or I watch it in like one of the other languages they got it set on. Sometimes Hindi if that's available, because I'm just like, bro, let me shout out to my boys over there.